Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. We start today's video with a tenant who thought the upstairs neighbors would be the problem, but the real nightmare came from below. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. Goodbye, broom warden. Your ceilings are about to meet real chaos. Upstairs neighbors usually get all the bad press. You know, the people who stomp around in heavy boots at 2 a.m., drop bowling balls for fun, or decide midnight's the best time to practice river dance. But in my case, the true menace wasn't above me, it was below. My downstairs neighbor, let's call her the broom warden, turned out to be an absolute nightmare. When I first moved in, a couple of residents warned me, "Hey, the lady below you is sensitive." I thought, fine, everyone's got quirks. I'll keep it down and mind my business. Oh, how naive I was. The broom warden didn't just mind her own business, she made it her personal mission to monitor my life like she was a noise police chief. If I so much as assembled furniture after 5 p.m., a perfectly reasonable time since I work 9 to 5, bam, 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 her broom handle would slam into my floor. If I dared walk across my bedroom at night, bam, bam, bam. God forbid I drop a pen or knock over a book, it would trigger an instant complaint to the superintendent. She once told him it sounds like he drops things at night. Well, yeah, sometimes humans accidentally drop things. Apparently, she expected me to float around my apartment in total silence like a ghost. One 4th of July, around midnight, I tiptoed into bed. My floor has one creaky board, and wouldn't you know it, creak. Immediately, her broom started thundering against the ceiling. I finally lost it and stomped back across the room just to give her something real to complain about. 5 minutes later, her husband came upstairs and literally screamed at me for 3 solid minutes about disrespect. Happy Independence Day to me. Living above them was like walking on eggshells, except the eggshells were wired with alarms that triggered broom rage. Every night I was reminded that I was living above someone who desperately needed a hobby, a white noise machine, or maybe a complete personality transplant. Fast forward to this week, my final week in the apartment. After 2 long years of broom thumping, passive-aggressive complaints, and me bending over backwards to stay quiet, I'm moving out. My new place is ready, and all that's left is the packing and cleaning. Of course, moving means cleaning, vacuuming, shifting furniture around. It was 3:30 a.m. I was still at it, and frankly, I didn't care anymore. And around midnight, like clockwork, she came storming upstairs to yell at me. By sheer luck, I was carrying trash out at that moment, so I caught her just as she opened her mouth. She didn't even get 2 words out before I turned, held up my finger, and shushed her. "Speak to me in the morning," I told her flatly, then walked away. I wish I could describe the look on her face. It was like I'd stolen her broom, snapped it over my knee, and told her Santa wasn't real. I know she's probably been tossing and turning all night, rehearsing her angry speech for the morning. What she doesn't know is that by the time morning comes, I'll be gone. Van loaded, keys dropped off, apartment empty. She'll never get her big finale. The irony? She's had it easy living under me. I'm an introverted mathematician. I rarely had guests, no loud parties, no blaring music, just the occasional late-night step on a creaky board. She's been spoiled. And I almost feel sorry for whoever moves in next. Almost. Because the odds of her landing another tenant as quiet as me, slim to none. Whoever moves in next will probably host friends, walk around in heels, or, heaven forbid, own a dog. And then she'll learn that I was the least of her problems. As for me, I'm heading to a new apartment where I can finally walk to bed at night without worrying about broom-banging retribution. Goodbye, broom warden. May your ceiling forever tremble under the weight of louder, livelier tenants than me. I would have bought an air horn and Dutch clogs. The wooden shoes? Walk around in the clogs until 8 or 9 p.m. If they come upstairs to yell at you, answer the door with air horn in hand. As soon as they start yelling, blast the air horn. Bonus points if you do this within the 30 days before you leave. Since evictions take time, if they complain to the manager, as they likely will, you won't be able to do anything to you before you're gone on your own. And our second story. Wow, I know him too. I work at an arcade. About 2/3 of our games give tickets, which you can exchange for prizes. On a busy weekend, I was working the register, selling game tokens and ride tickets. On the other side of my station is the redemption area, and one of my coworkers, Skylar, was working down there getting people their prizes. The customer Skylar was helping wanted a prize worth 4,000 tickets. We have a pretty fair rounding policy regarding tickets and prizes. If you're going for a prize that size, we'll usually spot you the extra tickets if you're within 50 to 100 of the prize. A lot of it depends on how courteous the customer is. Well, this guy had a major attitude for start. Definitely not the kind you'd want to be generous to. And he only had 1,200 tickets for a 4,000 ticket prize. Skylar was very calm the first dozen times he explained that the prize was out of their price range and tried to suggest other options. But as the guy continued to raise his voice and behave in a very entitled manner, he had one of our ticket-saving cards, which a lot of people think gives them special status. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. Skylar began getting frustrated. Finally, after about 15 minutes of this back and forth, Skylar snapped. "Sir, I'm not giving you 2,800 tickets for free." The guy went red in the face. "You'd better give me that prize. We've been here for hours playing and spent big dollars. We're VIP members and you have to round us up." "Sir," Skylar continued, still visibly irritated, "if that's the prize you want, you can save your tickets for next time and continue to work towards it. I can't give it to you when you don't even have half the tickets it costs." Sensing this interaction was not about to end with the result he wanted, the guy pulled out his trump card. "You're going to be sorry for this. I know your boss." The tension and frustration in Skylar's body language evaporated. His lips curled upward into a gleeful grin. "Oh yeah?" he said in a bright tone. "I know my boss too." Skylar paused for a moment, for effect, just to give the guy a moment before he let him in on the joke. "He's my uncle." The dude blanked. He paled a little and just stared at Skylar for a moment. Finally, "Your boss is your uncle?" he asked in a shaky voice. "Yes," Skylar repeated. "The owner, Greg, is my uncle." Another pause. The guy frantically recalibrated, coming up with a new story. "Well," he stammered, "my coworker knows your uncle." "Really?" Not an actual question. The BS alert's activated. "What's your coworker's name?" Now, if you're going to make up a fake coworker to threaten a 20-something into complying to your insane demands, please at least be creative and/or believable. Don't be like this genius who, after 10 seconds of humming and hawing, gives the spectacular answer of, "Bob." Skylar barely suppressed a snicker. "Well, I don't know a Bob, and I'm positive Greg doesn't know Bob either." I hope 4,000 ticket prize the dude could have easily bought online that he didn't get in the end was worth becoming a legendary laughingstock in our store. That's awesome. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Knowing the owner does not mean you deserve extra perks. It means you are extra kind, extra polite, and you willingly take a backseat to paying customers. Everything you do and say is a direct reflection on the owner you claim to be friends with and their family, and how they're viewed in the community. And our last story. "Sir, I am the manager and the owner. Now take your boyfriend and please leave." I, 34-year-old female, work at my family's restaurant. My aunt started it, but my parents invested the capital, so it's very much a family business. It's a brunch restaurant by day, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., and a pub by night, 7 p.m. to 2 a.m. Think fancy brunch vibes, overpriced mimosas, small plates that look like they belong on Instagram, the kind of place people dress up for. At night, it turns into a more relaxed pub with live music. I've always helped out here and there, but about a year and a half ago, I needed extra income because I wanted to buy a new laptop. My aunt was short-staffed, so she officially hired me. Because she knew me and knew I could handle it, she made me the manager. Nepotism? Sure. But I was actually competent. 2 weeks in, one of our servers called in sick with the flu. That meant I had to cover her shift. It wasn't a big deal. I'd served before, and honestly, I like being out on the floor sometimes. But that was the day I met him. Enter the loudest, most obnoxious guy I've ever had the misfortune of serving. Let's call him Paul. He came in with a small group of friends and his boyfriend, and from the moment they sat down, Paul was the center of attention. He was yelling, swearing, and for some reason groping his boyfriend under the table like this was his own personal cabaret. His friends looked mortified, the other customers looked uncomfortable, and the overall vibe was tanking fast. I walked over and tried to keep it polite. Me. Hi, sorry to interrupt, but could I ask you to keep your voices down a little? We have other guests trying to enjoy their brunch. Paul, laughing loudly, oh, come on, sweetheart, it's brunch, not church. The table laughed awkwardly, but I noticed one woman at the next table lean further away from them. I smiled tightly and left it at that, hoping they'd settle, but they didn't. The situation blew up when Paul ordered his 5th refill coffee. Me. I'm so sorry, but we're out of the current batch. The next one's brewing. It'll be just a few minutes. Paul, slamming his hand on the table. What the hell kind of service is this? First you harass us for being a little loud. Now you don't even have coffee? This place is a joke. The whole restaurant went quiet. I tried to diffuse it. Me. I promise the coffee's on the way. It'll just be a few minutes. Paul standing up, pointing at me. This is terrible service. I want to speak to the manager. Now, normally I'd just explain I'm the manager, but something in me snapped. Maybe it was the laptop fund, maybe it was his smug face, maybe it was the fact that he'd been ruining brunch for everyone else. I turned my back dramatically, twirled around like I was in a bad soap opera, and plastered the brightest smile I could muster. Me. Well, hello, good morning. I'm OP, the manager. The look on his face was priceless. He froze, then went red, but he wasn't done. Paul, don't screw with me. I want the owner. Give me the owner right now. Cue round 2. I did the same twirl, same bright grin. Me. Well, hello. Good morning. I'm also OP, part owner of this restaurant. His jaw dropped. His friends stared at me like they weren't sure whether to laugh or cry. His boyfriend muttered, just stop. But Paul doubled down. Paul, you think you can talk to me like that? You'll regret this. I spend a lot of money here. Me. And yet somehow it's not enough to buy yourself some manners. That was it for him. He yanked out a couple of bills, slammed them on the table, grabbed his boyfriend by the wrist, and stormed out. His friend scrambled after him, looking deeply apologetic. Later, when I told my aunt what happened, she laughed so hard she nearly cried. Apparently, this wasn't Paul's first offense. He had a reputation in town for treating service workers like dirt, always demanding free things or special treatment. He hadn't been in our place much before, but after that day, he never came back. And that, honestly, is fine by me. We don't need customers like him. We got plenty of regulars who actually respect us, tip well, and don't grope each other during brunch. The fact that he already had a local reputation just makes it sweeter. He thought he could steamroll his way through another staff, but instead got publicly roasted and walked out with his ego bruised harder than his boyfriend's wrist. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.